morning. Welcome to the Dutch Brothers studio here in Northrich Baptist Church. This is Will, if we haven't met.
And Brent. Hope you are having a good spring break week.
Yeah, spring break, man. Remember, no Wednesday night service Wednesday.
Yep.
So, yeah. Hey, this week, just kind of a quick recap where we were last week. We were in 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 8, talking about that ineffective quality, or that past one. It says that if these qualities of yours are increasing, they render you neither useless nor unfruitful, or keep you from being ineffective or unfruitful. And so we talked about what does it mean to be useful to God. And so I use this acronym of SHAPE. The SHAPE, you remember S is spiritual gifts, the H is heart, the A is attributes or abilities, the P is our personality, and then the E is experience. And just this idea that we want to be useful to God. We don't want to be ineffective, which the word for that literally means lazy. Like it's an intentional to be ineffective if we're God's kids, right? To be ineffective really is just the byproduct of just straight up laziness. We're not actually doing the work that God has called us to do. And so understanding our shape, how God has wired us is a big piece of understanding our effectiveness, our usefulness to God.
Could another way you describe it, lazy, half-hearted? Does that come into play there too?
Sure. I think so. Any half-hearted, maybe even double-minded. That's that double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. I think that probably plays into it as well. Yeah. I was reminded, I didn't share this story on Sunday, but years ago I was part of a Bible study with some business people in the Dallas area, and one of the guys that attended our Bible study was a bonds trader. So like municipal bonds, right, investment vehicles, and pretty successful at his job, worked at a pretty prominent company there in Dallas, and he was, in one of our Bible studies, he was just lamenting that he's a believer, but he didn't feel like he was being as effective as he could be. And the reason why is he looked at guys that were in full-time ministry, and he's thinking, oh man, they have a bit more opportunity, or they're somehow better at being spiritual. We know that's not true, bro.
Right.
But I was talking to him for a little bit. He's working with other investment people whose marriages were falling apart. Right, he's working with guys and other men and women that were various parts of their lives were broken. They weren't believers, and I'm sitting there thinking, you realize, like, you're in a situation where none of these people would ever go to a church on a Sunday morning, and a pastor is never going to be able to say or model anything that would have any impact on them. It's like, bro, like God's put you in this spot, like you can be their pastor,
right?
And it really did change in a lot of ways the way he
I kind of liken it to special ops or something, that he had a skill set and he could go to people that people in ministry might not ever get to go, and so he is sent in as a missionary undercover as a as a bondsman, and the difference, and be salt and light.
But he wasn't a missionary in that he's traveling across an ocean to get somewhere. He's a missionary driving his car to work.
That's a missionary.
That's a missionary. Absolutely. When we were talking last week about just preparing, Brent and I, we talk every week about sermon stuff and really talk about a lot of stuff, really. But one of the things that Brent, just sharing with what you were sharing with me, this idea of being and doing.
I think there's always somewhat of a tension among believers with that. Sometimes even that being, what does that actually mean? Sometimes it's hard to kind of get your head around it and grasp what that is. I know a couple of years ago when we were working our way through John 15 about abiding, the branches and the vine and so forth. And that's still kind of a concept that, we know what it is, but how we actually live it out sometimes kind of changes. It's not real static for us. And so, but I see this being is that constant fellowship, that total reliance on God, in which we desire and even invite Him to empower us to produce that fruit, which then leads into the doing. And so,
so that we can be useful to God.
right. I mean, it's if you want to kind of word it this way, it's the practice time before the game. You got to have prayer before there's a movement of God, and so it is getting our hearts and our lives in line with God so that we can be used.
Yeah.
And so, and then I think the doing is a little easier for us to understand because it's measurable. Hey, I did this for the Lord, I did that for the Lord, and so forth. But that being is that constant. It's kind of like, pray without ceasing. It's not that we go around, mumbling and praying all the time, but we are in constant fellowship with Him and total reliance that our very being, our existence today and what we accomplish and do is going to come from Him and not me.
Yeah.
So,
with Allie and I we've been married this May will be 23 years. And,
that's great.
This idea of being, kind of the analogy I use, just the reference point I have is like, I find so much security in being Allie's husband,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like even like right now, right there, my world in so many ways, it just feels ordered. It feels right because I know that I am Allie's husband, right? We don't have to be doing anything as a couple, right? The fact that she's mine and I'm hers, right? I can just be her husband. I think it's in some ways, I think it's like that with me and God. Like I have so much security and just awareness of life for no other reason than I'm just His. And sometimes, there is a difference in just being settled in that. I think just being aware of it, confident in it, that is different than the activity of.
Yeah. But there are times where Ollie says, "Will go take the trash out."
She did that to me last night, actually.
And so there's the doing. But
right.
But the most important thing in that relationship is just being with each other, learning of each other, and but then there's an aspect of we got to get some work done too.
That's right. Yeah, unfortunately, the reality of it, Allie's such just a proactive person and just so well ordered anyway. Usually it's her telling me what I need to do. I can never think of things to tell her to do. So anyway,
that might be the plight of a husband.
That might be. What's the saying? Husbands, you like we outpunt our coverage.
Yeah.
Quite often. Anyway, hey, just this midweek, I hope you're enjoying your spring break, spending some time with family, and again, we won't be meeting Wednesday night, so we'll just enjoy that time away. But man, just this week, just this video, we want to remind you: we just want to elevate to your conscious awareness. Are you operating within the way God shaped you, with your spiritual giftedness, with just really leaning into and understanding what you're passionate about, right? What's your heart, your abilities. What are those things that you are uniquely designed to do? I talked to the eldest Donaldson son that's in town. What's
John?
John. He wants to be an actuary. Okay, dude, bro has some legit abilities mentally if he wants to pursue actuarial science, like legit smart, right? I mean, there's some God-given abilities there. Now, our personalities at play, and then our experiences, just being mindful. We spent time reflecting on each one of those on Sunday morning. I just want to carry that through with you for this video, just to remind you and compel you to understand your shape and trust God that He didn't make a mistake.
That's right.
You're not a mistake. Right? You're not defined by your brokenness. You're defined by God's purpose for you. I just want to remind you for that.
It's great.
Anything
great
else,
word. No, have a great week. We will see you Sunday, though.
We'll see you Sunday.
Exciting day coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye.